If you have a roofing company and the commercial side of the business feels a little random, like you have a deal come in from a property manager, but last week you had an opportunity from a general contractor, and a few weeks ago, before that, you had maybe a referral fall in your lap from a previous residential client, and you might not get another opportunity for 2 or 3 months down the road, then this video is going to change the exact way you look at your business and hopefully show you a better path forward. And so typically when I'm talking to the owner of a roofing company or the leadership team inside of a roofing company, they tell me things like they need more leads, or that cash flow has been an issue, or hey, maybe we can't get past the gatekeepers, we can never get to the decision makers, or the sales cycle is so long in commercial. And it's like, I acknowledge and recognize that those are problems, but a lot of times they're just symptoms of what the root cause of the problem actually is, which is most roofing companies, most commercial roofing divisions inside of roofing companies are not taking advantage of what I call their total adjustable market. Most roofing companies, they're chasing the big re-roof, or they're going after even insurance claims. So they're doing things like waiting on the storm to roll through, or relying on that one-off relationship with a general contractor or a property manager, or just waiting on the next referral to come through. So on average, we know a roof system lasts about 25 years. So if we look at that 25 years on a spectrum, we know that doing that math, right, 25 years divided by 100 gives us about 4% per year. That means that 4% of the roofs in our market every year need to be replaced. But we also know that if that's true, the other 96% need repairs, maintenance, they need some type of service, because the membrane itself, or the panels, or the shingles, or the tile, whatever the roof system is, that might actually last the 25 years. But the reality is that the caulkings and the sealants, the flashings, the penetrations, and the terminations won't last the 25 years without having a little love. And so with repairs and maintenance and doing service type of work, we know that we can take advantage of that 96%, but most roofers don't. So those guys, they're fighting over this tiny little sliver of 4% of the market against every other contractor, in their service area, in a race to the bottom on price. And then they wonder why their profit margins suck, their pipeline dries up, and they have these seasons of inconsistency. But the best roofing contractors that I've had the opportunity to work with, to sit in the rooms with, to sit in the boardrooms like this with over the last few years, they don't do that. They set up systems and processes to bring in opportunities so that they are walking and inspecting roofs every single week. And when they're walking those roofs and doing those inspections, they're applying a grade to the roof. They're saying, is this roof an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F? When they understand what that roof needs and where it's at in its life cycle, they're then able to make an offer to take care of that roof, to bring it back up to a maintainable condition, and they can take that individual roof off the market and away from their competitors, so they're not competing against any other roofers in the entire market. To drive the point home, these guys have a system that takes advantage of what most roofing contractors are complaining about in the market. And that's the difference between getting a commercial job every once in a while and building a real commercial roofing division in your roofing company. Over the last 15 years, I've distilled everything down from running Jag Roofing and Sheet Metal, going through the acquisition, putting the merger together of 19 companies from East Coast to West Coast, and sitting in these peer groups of companies on the run to $100 million and beyond. And we've taken all of that information, the best models that we've seen, the best lead generation, sales process, estimating process, and we've distilled it into one simple thing. And we call it the commercial roofing sales and maintenance engine, and we can inject it into your business in about 8 weeks. Let me be clear, this is not an online course. This is an implementation program where my team works alongside of your team to do a few simple things. Number one, we want to get clear on what your team's skill set is and what the bandwidth is so that we can pick the right commercial segment for you guys. The next thing is, once we're clear on who we want to work with, we want to turn on a prospecting plan that actually fits your market and the type of work that you guys want to do. The third thing is, like, when we turn the faucet on, we want to set up a simple tracking system and a meeting cadence so that we can continue to manage it, even though we're not in your office and we're not riding around in the truck with you every single day. We've got to have a window into the business. The next thing is that we need to standardize the way that these processes work across the sales process. How do we get the opportunities? What happens before the inspection? What happens at the inspection? How do we put our estimates and our proposals together? And how do we position the maintenance agreements? So we want to standardize all of that and create a playbook specific for your team. And the last piece is when you finish our 8 weeks, you're gonna have a 90-day growth plan to continue on this path that we kickstart for you guys. We call this the Commercial Sales Accelerator. The goal by the end of the 8 weeks is really simple for me. We've got to make sure that you guys have new commercial inspections hitting the calendar every single week. We've got to ensure that you guys have at least one new commercial job and a maintenance agreement or a service agreement from this system. And the third piece or last piece is that you can sit down once a week, you can look at the scorecard, and you can know exactly what's going on in your commercial division so you have ultimate clarity on making decisions. Just to be crystal clear, this is for commercial roofing companies that are 100% dedicated to growing in the commercial space, growing that commercial division. And you need to have at least one commercial roofing sales rep that is absolutely dedicated to selling commercial, multifamily, repairs, restorations, or replacements. If you're skeptical in the slightest bit, just know that whether you live in a small rural area or you're working a huge metro, we've installed this model coast to coast and in every state from California to New Jersey and everything in between. And I'll tell you that for the guys that are either in residential and just transitioning to commercial, or you've been a veteran of the commercial space for 30 years, the model is the same. We just need to take the DNA of your roofing company and plug it into the model. And I've got one more thing to make the deal even sweeter and just to put my money where my mouth is. So if you show up live to working with us for those 8 weeks, or you at least watch the replays within 48 hours, you do the simple assignments that we give to you, you track your numbers in the sheets that we give you, and you actually run the outreach and the inspection plays we agree on, and you don't have, at the end of our 8 weeks, commercial inspections booked from this engine, if you haven't closed at least one deal, or you don't have at least one maintenance agreement sold, by the end of the 60 days, my team and I will work with you for another 60 days at no additional cost until you do. We either get those results together or we stay in it with you until they actually show up in the business. So here's what we can do next. If you are running a roofing company and you want to add recurring revenue, you want to grow the commercial division with repairs and maintenance versus relying on storms or those relationships with general contractors, go to commercialroofer.com or click the button around this video. It's gonna take you to commercialroofer.com/get started. There's a few questions on the application to give us the necessary information that we need to understand if we can actually help you. Fill out the questions and my team will call you within 24 hours or at least one business day. We'll talk about the minor details or the nuanced details of what it's gonna take to kick this thing off, and we can get this ball rolling. I'll see you guys on the other side.